Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. I am of course Spider Phantom, and this is a video I was not expecting to make, but I've not made a video in a while, so I guess we're really gonna ask the question that of course is the title of this video: is How to Train Your Dragon still great 10 years later? Because it first came out in 2010. Then 4 years later came the sequel. And then I think 3 years later came Hidden World. And then straight up nothing but Netflix shows for a while until we got the live action remaster. That's what I'm calling it, since it's basically a one-for-one retelling of the original movie. It seems like the How to Train Your Dragon franchise is getting a bit of a resurgence. And because of this, I'm going to go look back on the original to see if the original still stands good as a by itself movie without any knowledge of like sequels or anything. So it's basically a hold on. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while. It's about this boy Hiccup, who's an outsider. His father's the chief of this tribe, warrior Vikings named Burt. They live in Burke. And their main enemy is the dragons, which burn the village, I think, every month, like once every month. So they try to exterminate the dragons and find the dragon's nest. And Hiccup, since he's, weak and not like any of the other people in his village, he can't necessarily hunt dragons, but he wants to. So he goes after the most sought after dragon, the Night Fury. One that never leaves a trace, that's very fast and hits very hard. So he creates this contraption, shoots it into the night sky, and then it hits a Night Fury and it goes down in the forest. Of course, some people don't believe him, so he believed him that he actually hit a Night Fury. So he goes down into a forest to find out where it is. He finds the Night Fury, tries to kill it, but finds out that he wouldn't kill it, so he's just cutting him free. And the Night Fury nearly kills him, but doesn't for some reason. And then flies away, kind of. We'll find out why it can only kind of fly away later. So, since Hiccup's father, Stoic, is going away to find the dragon's nest with a few of his fellow Vikings, Hiccup is going to be in dragon training since he wants to kill dragons. Or since he tells his father over and over he wants to kill dragons with him. But the other kids in the training don't like him, or make fun of him because he's frail and weak. I forget their names because, except for their one note character studies, they're basically pretty forgetful, except for, I think she's the co-star, Astrid. She's basically the tough warrior type and tries to be the best. So throughout this first day of training, Hiccup finds out he's way out of his league, and then and then finds out a dragon always goes for the kill. So he's just like, well, why didn't this Night Fury did? So he goes and tracks down Night Fury yet again and finds out the Night Fury is missing one of its back tails, that it kind of needs to fly. So I think later at night they're all in the main hall eating, and then they're given the Book of Dragons. Everything they need to know about dragon. Everything they need to know about dragons. And the Night Fury is scarily empty. Scarily. So Hiccup tries to, I don't know, get closer to this dragon to study it, I guess. I'm not really too sure. But finds out that's going to be harder than it makes out to be. Because he didn't realize it had teeth, and he was like, oh, it's toothless. I swear it had teeth, and then just lunges in for a fish. So then after the next day of training, they find, Hiccup finds out from, God, I forget the character's name, but he finds out from this Pegway character that you remove its like wings, it's basically a dead dragon. So he's like, huh, that gives me an idea. So he tries to create a prosthetic for their Toothless, as he now calls the dragon, to help it fly. But of course the relationship is rocky at first, and it kind of, it's like falling with style. So the next 10-15 minutes is Hiccup training to fly with just Dragon Toothless, and learning more of the dragon's weaknesses and what they like and dislike, and using that in dragon training to become one of the top. So one day Astrid finds out, well, right after, I nearly forgot to mention the amazing flying sequence right before that. It's amazing. My favorite scene in the movie. And then after that flying sequence, Hiccup finds out that they're not so fireproof on the inside. Ooh. That'll come into play later. But later, Astrid kind of finds out that he's been hooking up with the dragon, tries to tell their tribe members, but Hiccup's like, nah. Let me take you on the sweet ride first. They go on the sweet ride. Astrid's like, okay, this dragon's pretty sick. But Toothless is kind of like mind controlled or persuaded to go with the other dragons. It's not really explained at all. So Toothless finds the dragon's nest, and they find out that a very huge dragon is controlling the rest of the dragons, or forcing them to find food so they can give it to him. It's not really sure. I'm just not sure about all of that. But anyway, they figure out that that's their queen, apparently. I'm not too sure if it's a man or woman or not. But Hiccup decides not to tell the others because he wants to protect Toothless. And as well, since he's doing so good in dragon training, that he gets to kill a dragon. But he doesn't want to kill dragons. So what's he gonna do? He tries to befriend the dragon in front of the entire village. But since Stoic was so forthwitting and forward about it, that he I lost my train of thought there for a sec. He uses his hammer to bang the cage, or to bang the metal chains around the battle arena, and the dragon just goes crazy trying to burn Hiccup alive. Toothless hears this, flies straight in without zero regard for human life, and straight up tries to kill this monstrous nightmare. And he sends him packing, but the rest of the Vikings are just like, holy shit, Night Fury, and then goes straight after that crap. Straight up chains him up, and then Stoic has like a huge talk with Hiccup about like dragons and Vikings and why they're killing each other and blah 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 blah. And then Hiccup kind of lets it slip out that he's seen the dragon's nest and that only a dragon can find it. So Stoic uses Toothless to go find the dragon's nest, and Hiccup is all sad for the rest of the day. But then he comes up with a crazy plan to go get Toothless back, and that involves using the other kids and the other dragons to go to the dragon's nest for backup. Meanwhile, the Stoic and the other Vikings find the dragon's nest, and they try to fight the dragons, but the dragons fly away. They're just like, oh, I guess we won. Okay, drinks on me. And then this huge dragon comes out, I think called the Red Death, and they're just like, we are screwed. And then Hiccup comes in with his friends and Astrid on dragons, and he was just like, huh, neat. They come up with a plan to distract the dragon while Hiccup finds Toothless. Hiccup finds Toothless, but is on this burning Viking ship because the Red Death burned all the Viking ships that the Vikings used to get to the dragon's nest. Hiccup passes out. Stoic grabs him, puts him on the mainland. Stoic goes back in the water, frees Toothless, and then Hiccup and Toothless try to fight the Red Death. This is when Hiccup uses that valuable knowledge that he gained earlier, is that dragons are not fireproof on the inside. So he distracts the Red Death by forcing him in the air and then dive bombing until he gets an open shot to shoot into the Red Death's mouth, fire straight into that bitch, and then burst into flames. And then the Red Death proceeds to dive bomb and then just kamikaze himself all over the place. But in the middle of that explosion, Hiccup gets knocked off of Toothless and loses his leg. So he now has a prosthetic leg. And the rest of the village of Berk has dragons now. So yeah, now all of them are dragon riders. And yeah, that's basically the gist of the story. So it's not really a unique story, but it is definitely a new version of it that seems different. You know, it's because it's kind of the same story as Lilo and Stitch and the Iron Giant, but all of them are different. So the story isn't too original, but the characters are, the environment certainly is, the animation is still really good. And if you're watching this on like a 3D TV or something with like 3D effects on, so good are the flying sequences and the action. Amazing. So seeing how this movie has gotten a cult following and now has a park in Universal Studios called the Isle of Berk, yeah, I'd say this movie is still pretty freaking good over 10 years later. And seeing how they're going to make a live-action sequel to the live-action remaster, then I say that this... wrong movie. This specific movie will still be going on for years to come. Well, this franchise will still be going on for years to come. Quite weird is our reality, huh? So I definitely recommend that you watch this movie if you haven't. It is definitely one of DreamWorks' best, along with Kung Fu Panda and Shrek. And if you want to recommend other movies for me to review, post it in the comments below. If you have any other video ideas for me to do, or if you want me to do any like gaming type videos on this channel or a separate channel, post your ideas in the comments below and I'll get to them as fast as I can. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I'm gonna end it right here because I definitely need some water after talking for 17 minutes. See you guys in the next video. Spider Phantom out.